In a luxurious Lekki mansion, tension filled the air as Stella stood aggressively waving DNA test papers at Juliet and Juliana. The DNA test has proven everything. I am your mother. You came from my body. I carried you for 9 months, she screamed. I deserve a share of this wealth. Look at this mansion, these cars. I suffered to bring you into this world. I have rights. Juliana stepped forward, her voice rising. Get out of our house. Stella looked shocked. What? I said, get out of our house, Juliana screamed. Stella's voice shook with rage. Get out! I gave birth to you! You exist because of me! You owe me everything! Juliet responded quietly, but with deadly calm. We owe you nothing. You ungrateful children. I am your mother. Blood doesn't lie. You can't throw me out, Stella screamed. Watch us, Juliana said, moving toward the door. Backing toward the door, Stella pointed her finger at them. You think this is over? You think you can just... No, we will meet in court. I will take everything from you. The media will hear about this. Everyone will know how heartless you are. She slammed the door so hard the frame shook. This is a story of selfishness, greed, love, and sacrifice. What truly makes someone a mother? Please subscribe to this YouTube channel for valuable African folktale stories with moral lessons. Let me take you back to where it all began. Stella Amadi was 22 years old and the most beautiful girl at Lagos State University. She knew it. Everyone knew it. Her skin glowed like polished mahogany, and her Instagram page was filled with designer bags, expensive shoes, and pictures at the finest clubs in Victoria Island. But Stella didn't come from money. Her parents were struggling traders in Yaba Market. While her classmates studied in the library, Stella studied something else: how to get money from rich men. Books cannot buy me a Range Rover, she would tell her roommate, Nozi. Beauty is my degree. Rich men are my career. That was how she met Chief Adeleke, a married politician in his 50s. He was fat, bald, and smelled like expensive cologne and lies. But his wallet was thick, and that was all Stella cared about. Chief Adeleke bought her a flat in Lekki, gave her a monthly allowance of 500,000 naira, and took her on trips to Dubai and London. Stella posted everything online. She was living the dream. But then the dream cracked. One December evening, Stella noticed her period hadn't come. She bought a pregnancy test. 2 lines. Positive. No, no, no! She screamed, throwing the test in the toilet. This cannot be happening to me. She called Chief Adeleke immediately. Baby, I'm pregnant. There was a long silence. Then his voice came, cold as ice. Handle it. I'm a married man with 6 children already. I'll give you money for an abortion. Don't call me again. He hung up. Stella tried calling back, but he had blocked her number. She went to his office, but his security threw her out. The monthly allowance stopped. The trip stopped. Everything stopped. Stella tried to get an abortion, but she was already 4 months pregnant. The doctors said it was too late and too dangerous. What kind of evil is this? Stella cried. But she wasn't crying because she wanted the baby. She was crying because the baby was ruining her plans. She hid the pregnancy under big clothes. She told everyone she was traveling abroad, but she was trapped in the flat, watching her body swell, watching her dream life die. 4 months later, Stella gave birth on a cold night in a private clinic in Surulere. She paid the nurse extra money to keep quiet. The pain was terrible, like her body was being torn apart. She screamed and cursed Chief Adeleke's name. When the first baby came out, the nurse said, "It's a girl." Stella didn't even look at her. Then another pain came. "Madam, there is another baby. You are having twins." "What?" Stella shouted. "2 of them. God, what did I do to deserve this punishment?" The second baby came out. Another girl. 2 identical baby girls. The nurse cleaned them and wrapped them in pink blankets. "Congratulations, madam. You have beautiful daughters." But Stella wasn't looking at them. She was looking at her phone, at her old pictures in Dubai, at the life these babies had stolen from her. The nurse brought the babies closer. "Madam, you need to breastfeed them. Take them away from me," Stella said coldly. "But madam," I said, "take them away. I don't want to see them." The nurse was shocked, but she took the babies to the nursery. That night, while the babies cried for their mother's milk, Stella was on her phone, texting other rich men, planning her comeback. 3 days later, Stella was discharged. She held the twins for the first time, not with love, but like they were bags she was carrying. The nurse had wrapped them in a clean white wrapper. Stella took an Uber to Ikeja. She told the driver to stop near the General Hospital gate. It was 11 p.m. The streets were quiet. She stepped out with the twins. She looked at their tiny sleeping faces. For 1 second, just 1 second, something stirred in her heart. But then, she thought about her wasted body, her lost opportunities, her empty bank account. The moment passed. She placed the babies carefully at the hospital gate, making sure they were visible. She even left a note. "Please, take care of them. I cannot." Then Stella walked away. She didn't run. She didn't cry. She just walked away like she was walking away from a bad business deal. 2 days later, she was at a club in Victoria Island, dancing, drinking, laughing. She posted on Instagram, "Back and better. New beginnings." The twins were erased from her life like they never existed. That same night, Adora Okonkwo was leaving her night shift at the same general hospital where Stella had abandoned the twins. Adora was a nurse, 42 years old, and had been married to James for 15 years. 15 years of trying to have a baby. 15 years of negative pregnancy tests, failed IVF, herbs from traditional healers, prayers from prophets. Nothing worked. People called her barren woman at her church. They told James to marry another wife. Adora had cried so many tears that she thought her eyes had no water left. That night, as she was leaving the hospital at midnight, she heard a sound, a weak cry. She looked around and saw the white bundle at the gate. "Jesus Christ!" Adora ran toward the sound. She opened the wrapper and saw them. 2 tiny baby girls, maybe 3 days old. Their eyes were closed. They were cold. Ants were already crawling on the wrapper. Adora picked them up and held them close to her chest. She didn't think. She didn't ask questions. She just ran back into the hospital. "Doctor! Doctor! Somebody abandoned babies here!" The hospital treated the twins that night. They were dehydrated and had low blood sugar, but they survived. The hospital protocol said they should report to the authorities and take the babies to an orphanage. But when Adora held those babies, something happened inside her. After 15 years of praying for children, here were 2 babies that nobody wanted. "James," she called her husband at 2 a.m., "come to the hospital. God has answered our prayers." When James arrived and saw the twins, he was confused. "Adora, these are not our children. Someone abandoned them." "God sent them to me," Adora said firmly. "I found them. I prayed for children, and God delivered them to me at my workplace. This is a sign. But Adora, we need to follow the law. James Okonkwo, are you going to help me or not? Because I am taking these babies home, whether you agree or not." James looked at his wife's face. After 15 years of watching her cry, how could he say no? They bribed the hospital officials to falsify the records, saying Adora had given birth to twins. They got birth certificates. They named the babies Juliet and Juliana Okonkwo. For the next 6 months, Adora and James didn't sleep. The twins cried all night. They had infections, fever, colic. Adora used all her savings, buying medicine, formula, diapers. When the money finished, she sold her gold jewelry, piece by piece. James's family came and criticized them. "You people are mad! You found children in the street and brought them home? These children could be cursed! They could be witches!" But Adora held those babies tight. "These are my daughters. God gave them to me. Anyone who has a problem with it can stay away from my house. Neighbors gossiped. That barren woman finally lost her mind. She picked children from the street and is claiming they are hers. But Adora didn't care. Every night, she sang to the twins. She fed them. She changed their diapers. She prayed over them. And slowly, the twins got stronger. By their first birthday, Juliet and Juliana were healthy, beautiful, and laughing, and Adora finally understood what motherhood felt like. The years passed like pages in a book. Juliet and Juliana were exceptional children. They were intelligent, disciplined, and kind. Adora made sure they went to the best schools. She and James worked 3 jobs between them to pay school fees. The twins didn't know they were adopted. As far as they knew, Adora and James were their parents. When the twins were 6 years old, they were already winning academic competitions. By the time they were teenagers, they were head girls in their secondary school. When they took their WAEC exams, they both scored straight A's in all subjects. The governor of Lagos State himself gave them full scholarships to the University of Lagos. Juliet studied medicine. Juliana studied law. Their story was in all the newspapers. Twin sisters excel despite humble background. What the newspapers didn't know was that Adora had sold their house to pay for extra lessons. They moved to a smaller flat in Surulere. James worked as a driver at night and a security guard during the day. Adora took double shifts at the hospital. But they never complained. Not once. As long as my daughters succeed, I can sleep on the floor, Adora would say. 5 years later, the twins graduated with first-class honors. The governor of Lagos State appointed them to special positions, Juliet as special advisor on healthcare and Juliana as special advisor on human rights. At just 25 years old, the twins were powerful, influential, and wealthy. They bought Adora and James a beautiful house in Lekki. They bought them a car. They gave them a monthly allowance. "Mommy, Daddy, you suffered for us," Juliet said with tears in her eyes. "Now it's our turn to take care of you." Adora cried with joy. After all the years of struggle, God had vindicated her. The twins' faces were everywhere. On TV, in newspapers, on billboards. The Okonkwo twins, from grassroots to glory. While the twins were rising, Stella was falling. After abandoning the twins, Stella went back to her career of dating rich men. But the years were not kind to her. 6 years after abandoning the twins, she was 30 years old, and the younger girls were taking her clients. Her Instagram posts got fewer likes. The designer bags became fake knockoffs from Balagan Market. She got pregnant 2 more times, once by a Lebanese businessman who disappeared, and once by a Yahoo boy who went to prison. She had 2 sons, Emeka and Chidi, but she barely took care of them. They grew up wild, angry, and resentful. 11 years after abandoning the twins, Stella was 35 and broke. She had been evicted from her flat. She and her 2 sons were living in a "Face Me, I Face You" compound in Mushin. She sold cheap clothes at Yaba Market. Her sons became area boys, smoking, stealing, disrespecting her. Emeka was arrested twice for robbery. Chidi joined a cult. Stella's beauty had faded. Her skin was rough from harsh sun and cheap makeup. Her body was tired from struggling. The Instagram page that once showed luxury now showed struggle. "Is this what my life has become?" she would cry at night. Then one day, 19 years after abandoning her twins, she was at the market when she saw them on TV. The Okonkwo twins. The news was showing their appointment ceremony with the governor. Stella stopped and stared at the screen. The twins were identical, 26 years old, beautiful, successful, confident. And something about their faces looked familiar. Stella's heart started beating fast. She looked at the date. The twins were born the same year she had given birth, the same hospital area where she abandoned her babies. She zoomed in on a newspaper photo. There was a small birthmark on Juliet's left ear. Stella remembered. One of her babies had that same birthmark. Jesus Christ, Stella whispered. Those are my children. For 3 days, Stella couldn't eat or sleep. She did research. She found out everything about the twins. Their schools, their achievements, their address, their adopted mother Adora Okonkwo. And then something changed in Stella's mind. At first, it was guilt. I abandoned my children, and they turned out successful without me. But then, slowly, the guilt became something else. Anger, bitterness, greed. I suffered to give birth to them. I carried them for 9 months. They are my blood. I deserve something. She looked at her own sons, one in police custody, one selling drugs. She looked at her small, dark room. She looked at her empty bank account. Then she looked at the picture of the twins in their expensive clothes, standing in front of the governor. They owe me, Stella said. I am their mother. Biology is biology. I deserve my share. And that was when Stella made her plan. One Saturday morning, the doorbell rang at the twins' house in Lekki. Juliana opened the gate and saw a woman standing there. The woman was wearing a borrowed church dress. Her hair was in a wig, and she had makeup covering her rough skin. But her eyes were calculating. Can I help you? Juliana asked. My name is Stella Amadi, the woman said. And then she started crying. I am your birth mother. I gave birth to you 26 years ago. Juliana's face went pale. Excuse me? Juliet heard the commotion and came outside. Stella looked at both of them and more tears came. But these were rehearsed tears. My daughters, my beautiful daughters, I have been searching for you for 26 years. Searching for us? Juliet repeated, confused. Just then, Adora came outside. She was now 68 years old, moving slowly. When she saw Stella, her whole body froze. You, Adora whispered. I know you. Stella's mask slipped for 1 second. But then she recovered. Yes, I am the mother of these children. I gave birth to them. Somebody stole them from me at the hospital. I have been looking for them ever since. That's a lie, Adora said, her voice shaking. You abandoned them at the hospital gate. I was the one who found them, almost dead. I didn't abandon them. Someone kidnapped them. I went to report to the police, but nobody helped me because I was poor, Stella cried dramatically. The twins stood in shock, looking between the two women. Come inside, all of you, Juliet said quietly. Let's talk about this properly. They sat in the living room. The tension was thick enough to cut with a knife. Stella told her rehearsed story. She claimed Chief Adeleke had kidnapped her babies because he wanted to sell them. She claimed she had been searching for years. She brought fake police reports, fake documents, fake tears. I am your mother, Stella said, holding the twins' hands. I have suffered so much without you. I need to know my children. You are my blood. Juliana pulled her hand away. If you're truly our mother, why are you just showing up now, after we became successful? Because I just saw you on TV. I had no idea where you were. Adora spoke up, her voice trembling with anger. That is a lie. I know what I saw that night. You were well dressed. You had money for an Uber. You placed those babies at the gate and walked away. There was no kidnapping. You're lying, old woman, Stella shouted. You stole my children. Ladies, please, Juliet said, trying to calm the situation. We need proof. Stella, do you have any evidence that you're our biological mother? DNA test, Stella said immediately. Let's do a DNA test. Blood doesn't lie. 2 weeks later, the DNA results came back. The 99.9% match. Stella was indeed the biological mother. Stella arrived at the twins' house with a smile of victory. You see, I am your mother. Now, we need to discuss my rights. Your rights? Juliana asked coldly. Yes, as your mother, I have rights. First, I need somewhere to stay. This house is big enough. I can move into one of the rooms. Second, I have 2 other children. Your brothers. They also need help. Brothers? Juliet interrupted. Yes, Emeka and Chidi. They are struggling. They need jobs, education, money. You people are rich now. Family takes care of family. Adora, who had been silent, suddenly spoke. What kind of mother are you? You show up after 26 years, not with love, but with demands? Shut up, old woman, Stella snapped, her mask fully off now. You are not their mother. You were just a glorified nanny. I am their real mother. I carried them in my womb. I gave them life. That will never change. The room went silent. Juliana stood up, her lawyer mind working. Get out. What? Stella looked shocked. I said get out of our house. Now. You cannot throw your own mother out. Watch us, Juliana said, moving toward the door. Backing toward the door, Stella pointed her finger at them. You think this is over? You think you can just… No, we will meet in court. I will take everything from you. I'll go to the media. Everyone will know you are ungrateful children who abandoned their poor mother. Then go, Juliet said quietly. We're not afraid of you. Stella left, but not quietly. She slammed the door and shouted, You will regret this! I am your mother! You owe me! After she left, the twins sat with Adora. She was crying. I'm sorry, Adora said. I should have told you earlier that you were adopted. Mummy, Juliana held her hand. You are our mother. That woman is just a stranger who gave birth to us. But Stella wasn't done. 1 week later, the twins' phones started ringing. Stella had gone to every blog, every newspaper, every radio station. The Okonkwo twins abandoned their poor mother. Successful twins deny their biological mother. Heartless daughters throw mother into the street. The blogs published Stella's photos, crying, looking poor and pitiful. She gave interviews. I searched for my children for 26 years. Stella cried on live radio. When I finally found them, they threw me out like trash because I'm poor. They prefer the woman who stole them from me. Social media exploded. Half of Lagos sided with Stella. Blood is blood. You can't abandon your biological mother. Those twins are heartless. But the other half defended the twins. Where was she for 26 years? She only showed up when they got rich. Adora is the real mother. The twins' office was flooded with calls. The governor summoned them for a meeting. Then, Stella's lawyer sent a letter. Legal notice for custody rights, compensation for emotional distress, and a monthly payment of 2 million naira for abandonment and suffering. Juliana read the letter and laughed bitterly. She really thinks she can extort us. But then it got worse. Stella brought her 2 sons, Emeka and Chidi, to the twins' office. They were rough-looking men in their 20s, with gold chains and aggressive attitudes. We are your brothers, Emeka said. Our mother said you people don't want to help your family. We don't know you, Juliet said firmly. That's fine, Chidi said with a nasty smile, but Lagos is a dangerous place. Accidents happen. Maybe you people should think about helping your family before something unfortunate happens. Security threw them out, but the message was clear. Stella and her sons were willing to play dirty. That night, Adora had a stroke from the stress. She collapsed in the bathroom. Juliet, being a doctor, gave her immediate care, but Adora had to be hospitalized. At the hospital, the twins sat by Adora's bedside. She was weak, connected to machines, but her mind was still sharp. Don't let that woman win, Adora whispered. She doesn't love you. She only loves money. We know, Mummy, Juliana said, crying, but she's destroying our reputation, and if we give her money, she'll keep coming back for more. Then fight her, Adora said. Show everyone the truth. Juliana, the lawyer, decided to investigate Stella's past. She hired a private investigator named Mr. Coyote. Mr. Coyote was good at his job. Within 2 weeks, he came back with a folder thick with evidence. Your biological mother is not who she claims to be, Mr. Coyote said. He laid out the evidence. 1. Instagram screenshots. Photos of Stella partying in clubs just days after giving birth. One post said, "Fresh start, no baggage." 2. Hospital records. The nurse who delivered the twins was found. She testified that Stella had refused to hold the babies, refused to breastfeed, and paid extra money to keep everything quiet. 3. Uber records. The ride from the hospital to Ikeja General Hospital, where she abandoned the babies. 4. Testimonies. People who knew Stella years ago confirmed she was a runs girl dating rich married men for money. 5. Chief Adeleke. The investigator tracked down the father, a now retired politician. He admitted the affair and said he had offered Stella money for an abortion, which she had refused not because she wanted the babies, but because it was too late. 6. Stella's other children. Interviews with neighbors revealed Stella had neglected Emeka and Chidi. They had grown up in the streets while she chased other men. 7. Criminal records. Stella had been arrested twice, once for fraud and once for credit card scam. Most damning of all, the investigator found Stella's old phone. She hadn't deleted her messages. There were texts from years ago. "I can't wait to get rid of these babies and get my body back. 2 babies will destroy my life. No man will want me. I'm dumping them somewhere safe. Let God take care of them." With all this evidence, Juliana called a press conference. The press conference was at the Civic Center. Every media house in Lagos attended. Stella showed up with her lawyer, confident she would win the sympathy vote. But Juliana came prepared. "Ladies and gentlemen," Juliana began, "for the past month, a woman named Stella Amadi has been telling Lagos that she is our poor, abandoned mother. Today, I will show you the truth." She displayed everything: the Instagram posts, the hospital records, the text messages, the testimonies. The room gasped. "This is the woman who wants sympathy," Juliana said. "A woman who abandoned us in the street, not because she was poor, but because we were inconvenient. A woman who only came back when we became successful and wealthy." Stella jumped up. "Those are lies, fabricated evidence." But Juliana played the video testimony from the nurse who delivered them. The nurse, now elderly, told the truth. "That woman didn't want those babies. She paid me to keep quiet. She never looked at them with love." Then Juliana showed photos of Adora. Adora selling her jewelry to buy formula. Adora working 3 jobs. Adora at their school graduations. Adora crying with joy when they got their first scholarships. "This is our mother," Juliet said, stepping forward. "Not the woman who gave birth to us, but the woman who gave her life for us. Adora Okonkwo didn't have to take us in. We were abandoned babies, but she chose love." The room erupted in applause. Stella's lawyer stood up. "Regardless of the past, my client is still their biological mother. She has legal rights." "Actually, no," Juliana said calmly. "According to Nigerian law, Child's Rights Act, Section 147, a parent who willfully abandons a child forfeits all parental rights. We have evidence that our birth was reported as abandoned babies. The hospital has the records. Legally, Stella Amadi has no claim on us." Stella's face went pale. "Furthermore," Juliana continued, "we are filing a lawsuit against Stella Amadi for attempted extortion, defamation, and criminal threat through her sons who threatened our safety." Stella stood up and started screaming. "You ungrateful children! I gave birth to you. You came from my body. You owe me everything." "We owe you nothing," Juliet said quietly. "You gave us biological life, yes, but you also threw us away like garbage. If not for Adora, we would be dead. So don't you dare talk about what we owe." Security escorted Stella out as she cursed and screamed. The press conference went viral. Every Nigerian blog, newspaper, and TV station covered it. Public opinion shifted completely. "The twins are right. Adora is the real mother. Stella is a wicked woman. She only came for money. Blood doesn't make you family. Love makes you family. After the press conference, Stella became desperate. No one believed her anymore. The media had turned against her. Even her own neighbors were calling her wicked. She tried one last move. She went to Adora's hospital room. Adora was recovering from her stroke, still weak. When she saw Stella walk in, she tried to press the call button, but Stella grabbed her hand. "Please," Stella begged. And for the first time, her tears were real. "Please talk to them. I need money. My sons are in trouble. Emeka is in debt to loan sharks. They will kill him if he doesn't pay. Please, I'm begging you." Adora looked at this woman, the woman who had given birth to her daughters but had thrown them away. For a moment, Adora felt pity. "How much does he owe?" Adora asked. 2 million naira. Adora was quiet for a long moment. Then she said, "I will talk to the girls, but you must promise me something. After this, you leave them alone. Forever. No more demands. No more threats. You take the money, pay your son's debt, and disappear from our lives." Stella nodded desperately. Yes, I promise." When the twins came to visit, Adora told them about Stella's visit. "Mummy, you can't be serious," Juliana said angrily. "After everything she did, you want us to give her money?" "Not for her," Adora said weakly. "For her son. Whatever Stella is, that boy doesn't deserve to die because of his mother's mistakes. Give her the money, but make her sign a legal document that she will never contact you again." The twins looked at each other. This was who Adora was. Even her enemies received mercy. Reluctantly, they agreed. 1 week later, the twins met Stella at a lawyer's office. Juliana had prepared a legal document, a contract. "This is the agreement," Juliana said coldly. "We will give you 2 million naira, one time. In exchange, you sign away all claims to us, all parental rights, all future contact. You take this money and you never speak to us again. If you break this agreement, you will face criminal charges for extortion." Stella read the document. Her hands were shaking. This was it, her last chance to get something from the daughters she had thrown away. She signed. Juliet transferred the money immediately. "It's done." Stella stood up to leave, but Juliet stopped her. "But," Juliet continued, her voice hardening, "motherhood is not 9 months. Motherhood is not childbirth. Motherhood is sacrifice. It's waking up at 3 a.m. when your child is sick. It's selling your jewelry to pay school fees. It's working 3 jobs so your children can have a better life. That's what Adora did. That's what you didn't do." Juliana added, "You want to know the saddest part? If you had come to us with genuine remorse, if you had apologized for abandoning us, if you had shown real love instead of greed, we might have welcomed you into our lives. But you only saw dollar signs. You didn't see daughters. You saw a business opportunity." Stella started crying, but this time the tears were genuine. "I know," she whispered. "I know I failed. But I was young. I was scared. I was selfish. I can't change the past." "No, you can't," Juliet agreed. "But you could have changed your future. Instead, you made the same mistakes with your other children. You never learned." Stella had no response. What could she say? They were right. "Take the money," Juliana said. "Save your son. Fix your life. But stay away from us. We're not your daughters. We're strangers who happen to share your DNA." Stella left the lawyer's office with 2 million naira in her account, but with a hole in her heart that money couldn't fill. She used the money to pay off Emeka's debt. Then she took her 2 sons and moved to Ibadan, far away from Lagos, away from the daughters she could never have. 3 months later, Adora recovered from her stroke. She was weaker now, needing a cane to walk, but her spirit was still strong. The twins threw a party for her recovery. All their friends, colleagues, and neighbors came. The governor sent a representative with a certificate of honor for exemplary motherhood. During the party, Adora gave a speech. People ask me if I regret taking in those babies from the street, Adora said, her voice emotional. Let me tell you something. That night when I found Juliet and Juliana, I was at my lowest point. I had prayed for children for 15 years. I thought God had forgotten me, but God didn't forget me. He was just preparing me for these two. She looked at the twins with tears in her eyes. Being their mother was not easy. There were nights I cried because I didn't have money for school fees. There were days I went hungry so they could eat. But I would do it all again, because these two girls gave my life meaning. They made me understand that motherhood is not about biology. It's about choice. It's about love. The room erupted in applause. Juliet and Juliana hugged their mother tight. We love you, Mummy. Forever. Dear viewers, 1. Between Stella and Adora, who do you think suffered more? Stella lived with regret for 26 years, but Adora struggled financially for the same time. Which is worse, material poverty or emotional poverty? 2. Did the twins do the right thing by rejecting Stella initially? Should they have given her a chance despite her clear greed? 3. Should biology give Stella any rights at all? The law says no, but what does your heart say? 4. What would you have done if you were the twins? Would you have given Stella the 2 million naira? Would you have attended her funeral? 5. Is Stella a villain or a victim? She made terrible choices, but society also failed her by teaching young girls that their bodies are their only capital. 6. What is the true definition of a mother? Is it the 9 months of pregnancy or the years of raising a child? 7. Can someone like Stella be redeemed? She changed in her final years. Does that count for anything? 8. Should society do more to prevent situations like Stella's? What systems should be in place to help young, pregnant women so they don't abandon their children? 9. Do you think Adora ever regretted taking in the twins during the difficult years when they had no money? 10. If you had to choose, would you rather be raised by your biological parent who doesn't love you, or an adoptive parent who loves you deeply? Comment below with your thoughts. Have you experienced anything similar? Do you know a mother like Adora? Do you know someone like Stella? Share this story to teach someone about the true meaning of motherhood. Remember, blood money can't buy love. Family is not about DNA. It's about who shows up, who stays, and who sacrifices. In memory of all the Adoras in the world, the mothers who chose love over biology. And in warning to all potential Stellas, don't let money make you abandon the greatest wealth you'll ever have, your children. Please subscribe to this YouTube channel to get valuable and meaningful African folktale stories. Also, turn on the notification bell to get notified when we upload our valuable stories. Do well to share to your friends and loved ones to educate them on the need for love in parenting. Thank you for watching.